Level 1, the Flash Survivor. You see the light before you understand it, a sudden white burst that erases shadows and freezes everything in place for a split second. Your body reacts on instinct as you drop to the ground, covering your head while the air around you begins to vibrate. The shockwave arrives like an invisible wall, smashing through buildings and throwing dust, glass, and heat into everything around you. You feel it hit your chest, knocking the breath out of you as if the world itself just punched you. When you finally look up, the street you knew is gone, replaced by broken structures and fire spreading in every direction. People move through the chaos, some screaming, some silent, and some already too still to notice anything at all. A burned figure walks past you slowly, arms raised in confusion, and you realize this isn't something you can process right now. All you know is that in one moment, everything familiar has disappeared, and there's no going back to it. Level 2, the Fallout Wanderer. The sky turns gray instead of clearing, and ash begins to fall like soft snow that never melts on your skin. You cover your mouth with whatever you can find, but every breath still feels dry and heavy inside your chest. You walk without a clear destination, stepping over debris and avoiding eye contact with anyone who looks too desperate. Some people call out for help, but you keep moving because stopping now feels like a risk you can't afford. You find a damaged store with half its walls missing, and inside, scattered supplies give you a brief sense of hope. As you gather food and water, another person enters, and both of you instantly understand what this moment means. Your hands move at the same time, reaching for the same item, and the tension snaps into action without warning. You push harder than you intended, and when they fall, you don't wait to see what happens next. You leave quickly holding what you took, and realize that survival has already started rewriting your choices. Level 3, the Shelter Seeker. You find a basement filled with strangers, all of them carrying the same fear but hiding it in different ways. No one welcomes you, but no one turns you away either, because everyone understands the situation without saying it. A broken radio repeats fragments of information mentioning radiation and warning people to stay inside, but nothing feels certain anymore. Time becomes difficult to measure as hours blend together between hunger, silence, and restless waiting. A man in the corner coughs constantly, and others begin to shift away from him without saying why. Another person guards their supplies too closely, watching everyone like a threat waiting to happen. One night, movement breaks the silence as someone tries to steal food while others sleep, and tension spreads instantly across the room. The situation escalates quickly, ending in a way that leaves everyone quieter than before. You sit there, noticing how no one reacts with shock anymore, including yourself. That's when it hits you. You're adapting faster than you expected. Level 4, the Scavenger. Staying underground stops feeling safe once supplies begin to disappear, so you take the risk of going back outside. The air feels heavier now, carrying a strange metallic taste that never fully leaves your mouth. You move carefully through damaged buildings, entering places you once trusted, now searching them like opportunities instead. Every step requires attention because one mistake could mean you don't get another chance. Inside one building, everything looks untouched at first, which immediately makes you cautious instead of relieved. You move slowly, listening for any sound that doesn't belong, until you hear something faint behind a closed door. When you open it, you find someone weak, holding onto supplies they clearly can't defend for long. They look at you with hope, but you already know what you're about to do. You take what you need without speaking, ignoring the weight of that decision as you leave. Outside, you tell yourself it was necessary, even if part of you knows it wasn't always like this. Level 5, the Group Protector. Over time, you stop being alone as others begin to gather around you, drawn by the way you handle situations. They look to you for decisions, for structure, and most importantly, for survival. You organize tasks, assign roles, and create rules that everyone must follow, even if they don't always agree. Fairness becomes less important than stability, and you start to understand why. One night, distant footsteps approach your shelter, and the sound alone is enough to put everyone on edge. You signal silence, controlling the situation before it turns into panic. The door is tested from the outside, slowly at first, then with more force as whoever is out there becomes more certain. Your group looks at you, waiting for a decision that could change everything. You act quickly, choosing defense over hesitation, and the moment turns violent without warning. When it ends, the threat is gone, but the atmosphere feels different now. You're not just surviving anymore, you're protecting something. and that changes the way others see you. Level 6, the zone controller. Your group grows larger, and with that growth comes influence over the surrounding area. You begin controlling access to resources, deciding who enters, who stays, and who gets turned away. People follow your system because it works, not because they trust it completely. You notice how quickly order can replace chaos when someone is willing to enforce it. A trader arrives offering valuable supplies in exchange for safe access through your territory, and you consider the risk carefully. The deal requires trust, but trust is something you now measure instead of give. You agree, but on your terms, making it clear that control doesn't come without boundaries. As more interactions like this happen, your position becomes stronger, but also more visible. And in this world, being visible means eventually being challenged. Level 7, the Warlord. Your control expands beyond a single area, connecting multiple zones through routes that depend on your decisions. Supplies move because you allow them, and people follow rules because breaking them has consequences. A rival group begins testing your borders, not with full attacks, but with small moves designed to expose weakness. You respond strategically, cutting their access and limiting their options before they can gain momentum. The conflict builds quietly, then ends quickly when you strike at the right moment. After that, there's no doubt left about your position. But something shifts inside you during this process, something that doesn't go back to how it was before. You stop reacting emotionally and start thinking only in outcomes and control. Victory doesn't feel like relief anymore, it feels like maintenance. Level 8, the last authority. You control everything around you now, from resources to movement, shaping the world that remains after everything fell apart. People depend on your system to survive, even if they don't fully understand how it works. You live surrounded by protection, yet you've never felt more exposed to risk. Every conversation feels calculated, and every decision carries consequences that reach far beyond you. Sleep becomes lighter, thoughts become sharper, and trust becomes something you rarely allow yourself to feel. Even silence feels like it's hiding something just out of reach. Sometimes you think about the first day, about the moment everything changed and how simple your choices used to be. That version of you feels distant now, almost like a memory that doesn't belong to you anymore. You built control out of chaos and created something that continues because of you. But the truth is something you can't ignore. You don't own this life anymore. This life owns you.